evening and welcome.
All right, let's get started. Welcome to the 7th annual Kumi Benefit Dinner. I'm grateful for all of your presence today. I'm Leon. I'm a member of CCUMC, Chinese Community United Methodist Church here in Chinatown. This is actually my 3rd year in attendance. The first year was back in 2014 when the church sent their missionary squad to Uganda, and that was what piqued my curiosity. And now here I am, 3 years later, ready to share about the same cause. And I think I'll turn it over to my partner, Harry, now.
All right. By the way, Leon is our star youth member. He is a junior in what school?
High school.
Yes, junior. I know, but which school?
Okay, Albany High School.
Yes, junior, not in college, but in high school. I just wanted to say that because I'm very proud of you. My name is Ari Lee, and I'm a member also at CCUMC, Chinese Community United Methodist Church, and I want to welcome all of you tonight on behalf of our church, but also our mission ministries team, and also our Uganda YCBM task force. There's a lot of mouthful to say. I think we have some special guests to acknowledge, right?
Right, all right. All right, we're going to start with some representatives on behalf of our sister circuit churches. That's United Methodist terminology for churches in the vicinity, right? Close by, all right? It's nothing fancy. Okay. I'll recognize each one of you, and we'll hold the applause to the end. I'll ask each of you to stand up after each. Okay, the first, we'd like to welcome Reverend Stephanie Gameros. She's a chaplain at Kaiser Hospital in San Leandro. Is Stephanie here? She is not here yet, but she will be.
They're on their way. They're on their way.
Okay. Also with us is Reverend Pam Kurtz from Lake Merritt UMC. It's all right if you want to applaud. Perfectly fine.
I know.
Also here is Reverend John Oda from Lake Park UMC. And also here is Reverend Samuel Yoon from Embrace in Oakland.
He's on his way.
He's on his way?
On his way, on his way.
That's perfect. All right, in addition, we have other reverends on behalf of organizations that are not as nearby, but I mean, they took the time to come here. So, Reverend William Chow from First UMC in Fremont, he's also known as my father. I'm sure he's on his way. We also have lay pastor Chanta Yos from Bayside Cambodian UMC. Also, we have Pastor Derek Lang, claim minister at Almaden Hills UMC. I saw him earlier tonight. Reverend Wu Young Lee is sick, unfortunately. Reverend Phil Lawson and Joanne Lawson, are they here tonight? Alright. Also, we have Reverend Sun Hee Kim from St. Paul UMC in Fremont. On the way. Alright. Reverend John Chamberlain. Yeah. We also have Reverend Fel Cow from Wayside UMC. Vallejo. Okay. I think we'll learn more about that shirt later. Alright, and we also have Reverends Anthony Hughes and Dorsaline Hughes from St. Paul AME Berkeley. On top of that, we have a few special ones to announce. CCC, Chinese Community Church down in San Diego, who's always been in partnership with us, particularly for this project. Their generous capital donations have actually made possible the girls' dormitories at the school in Uganda, as well as the future capital project. And I believe Donna Lee is here representing CCC. Stand up. She's right there. All right. We also have Wayside UMC, who we just recognized, who is in partnership of the Kumi Benefit Ride, which actually Uncle Bert will talk about later. So I'll keep you in suspense. We also want to recognize Epworth UMC and the Wasong Community Service Club for always sponsoring 1 or 2 tables here at the dinner. And last but not least, us youth / young adult volunteers. We're all over here. Say something.
All right, so welcome. one and all. We are here tonight primarily because of a dream. And the dream is actually written on the front cover, if you would refer to your programs. For I know that the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for calamity, to give you a future and a hope. In 2001, I met a very quiet, unassuming young man in my music class that I was teaching in Kampala, Uganda, as I was a short-term volunteer teacher at a Bible college teaching church music, because that's what I do. And I still go once a year for a month or two, and in that year, I've met many students, but this one was a little bit different because for a musician, he was awfully quiet. And so I thought, oh, how can this guy like stand up in front of people and lead worship and all that, because African worship, as I had witnessed it, was very lively. So, but what I did notice was he was extraordinarily gifted musically. I mean, he was already a very distinguished and very accomplished Ugandan traditional instrument, boha instrument called a dungu player. He was actually the national champion. And so I kind of picked an interest because I got sick that year, and so I was having malaria and in bed, and students come to visit to kind of, give encouragement to their teacher, and he came with his adungu and sang me a bunch of songs. And they were so beautiful and so moving. I said, Silver, his name is Silver Omakeni. Silver, where have you learned these songs? Oh, these are my own compositions. They are breathtakingly beautiful, and they really spoke to a faith that I really wanted to learn more about. And it was my habit to go visit my students in their home villages because they come from all over Uganda and even East Africa. So I said, Silver, I'm coming to your village this weekend. I want to know your community. So we took a bus ride that was bumpy for 7 hours straight. It's dusty. And we went to visit his little village of Kumi, Uganda, in the northeastern corner. And no electricity, no running water, no nothing there. But people gathered. He had in his home as a single man 9 orphan children he was taking care of. I said, this is remarkable. And that night he gathered with some of his church friends and shared a dream. And this was what this was about. Of caring for the least, the most vulnerable in his community. And I said, wow, that's an amazing, inspiring dream. And it was big because it involved a school. Not just an elementary school, but a secondary school, a vocational school, a music school, a worship training school, a band, missionary teams. I said, wow, that is amazing. It gives me goosebumps, but you're talking to the wrong person, brother. I'm just a poor musician. I don't have people skills. I'm not a rich person. I'm what you call in the U.S. one of the poor people. And they said, that is fine. We wanted to share our dream. Little did I know that the dream that God had put in this simple young man's heart spread to 7th annual Kumi benefit dinner. Here we are. We have a school that opened 2 years ago. Now we have over 200 students learning and thriving, many of whom could not have made it to school without your generous donations. So we want to welcome you, and I get goosebumps just thinking about it because it was an impossible dream in my mind, in my person of little faith heart. But here we are. So welcome once again to a lovely evening, and I know that you'll have a chance to eat, mingle, and hear more stories. and also go and shop some more. The auction table is open till when, Leon?
It's open till 7:45.
All right, check your watches and keep going back because there's good stuff, right?
Yes. Okay, thank you, Ari. We'll be hearing more about that, including, I think, footage from her visit this year to Uganda. It's now 6:30, and I'm sure many of you are wondering, where's the food? Well, I am here to assure you that, like many of our guests, the food is on its way. Just a few announcements. I think many of you walking in noticed the silent auction as well as the market. The market will be open throughout the evening. The silent auction will be closing at 7:45, and I'd go check it out. I saw gift baskets and gift certificates and a variety of adult beverages. Okay, before we eat, I'd like to invite my mother, Pastor Mayna Ko, to say a word of grace.
Food is on the way, but after we pray, food will be here. I would like to ask you to join me in prayer. 兄弟姐妹，让我们一同来祷告。全能慈爱的上帝，我们感谢赞美你，你赐给我们每一个人非常好的礼物，就是我们的生命。你的祝福、你的恩典，常常在我们的生活中处处可见。因为你的爱，我们才能有能力去爱我们当中一些贫乏的、身体机能有障碍的、遭遇不幸的人。我们满心的感谢你的感召，今天晚上我们才能够得到这么多的兄弟姐妹，愿意为了 Kumi 基督教小学持续的运作还有发展，同心协力来筹款。感谢你丰富供应的恩典。我们恳求你祝福今天在这里或者没有能够在这里的每一位因着信心、因着爱，愿意坚持慷慨捐献的人。祝福我们今天所得的募款的款项，都能够帮助 Kumi 基督教小学的教学能够正常的运作。主啊，我们恳求你保守所有的师生身体健康、心灵喜乐。祝福他们，让他们在时时充满教学还有学习的热情。愿他们每一个人，不论是教的或是学的，都能够经验你丰盛的爱以及改变生命的大能。也祝福我们今天晚上在这里的时间，我们的谈话都能够得到彼此的造就。感谢垂听，奉主耶稣基督的名求，阿们。
Thank you. Let's have dinner begin.
All right. Continue to mingle. Feel free to get up and check on your silent auction bids. So as we're being served our delicious fifth course already, we have a very special guest who's flashing in front of my eyes right now. And you've noticed some jersey wearers among you, and you're probably wondering. So here is Uncle Bert, who Leon mentioned earlier, who is a member of our church, and also the chair of the, oh my goodness, another mouthful, YCVM Task Force, Youth and Child Visionary, our Mission Ministry Task Force.
Put your hands together, people. My pleasure to tell you of a wonderful ride that we're going to have next year in April of 2017. In your wonderful brochure tonight, you see a little card like this. You see a little card that looks like this. This is your passport to next April's benefit ride. Kumi Benefit Ride 2. Now, in our audience tonight, we have the cyclists. Would you please stand at this point and show off the wonderful jerseys? Pastor Phil. Stand up, keep standing, keep standing. Oh, Bill, where's your jersey? Keep standing. There's Alvin, there's Becky. All right, and let's see, who else is here that didn't stand up? Stay standing. Now, tonight, before you leave, I invite you to stop one, or at least two of them, and say hi to them and thank them for this wonderful ride we had last April 30th, 2015. 16. And 16 cyclists started out from Wayside United Methodist in Vallejo, and we rode 100 kilometers or 62 miles all the way to Livermore. And we were blessed by having a number of other United Methodist churches along the way that offered us refreshments and a place to rest and a place to eat and have lunch and have refreshments and have dinner. I, being the senior member of the group, I was the oldest, so I get to talk. But we raised almost there it is, $18,000 for this short ride. Put your hands together for that, would you? And we invite you this year to join us next year in April in Castro Valley. We're going to do a loop. Stand up there, this is good for you. Because I want everybody to see it, all of us, see? So that during the evening, at least you can stop and say, hey, hi, Veronica. See, I saw Veronica, said hi to her. So, this card is your passport to the ride. You turn this in, and you get a free hello from me. And sign up for the ride. And sign up others to be your sponsors, because we're out to raise a ton of money. And there on the screen, you'll see, this is the first time I've seen it, so look with me. Here's the loop. We're starting at Castro Valley United Methodist Church, and we're going to make a loop, several loops around that area. But Castro Valley United Methodist Church is going to be our center, and we'd like you to be a part of that. We have family style this year, so if you had, so we have family style, so that if you have a smaller, shorter ride, you want to go, like it says on the card here, 50 mile, or 25 mile, or 7 mile, a walk and ride, then do around Lake Chabot, or out to Redwood Road, all the way up to where? Where's that? Lafayette, and then also over the Dublin Grade, over into the Tri-Valley area. So we have all kinds of choices. So there is Amos, that's Bell, Bill next to him, Alvin, Kendrick, there's Becky over there, myself, and there's who else? Pastor Emily, raise your hand, Pastor Emily, you there. So, yeah, see me. Yeah, see? All right, so that's our ride for next April. Sign up. Pete over here, raise your hand, Peter. Raise your hand. There, Peter said he's going to ride next year with us. Only if Mark will. My son Mark will ride this year, this coming ride. Last year. Albert is riding. Wonderful, see? That's great. And other churches, other friends. So, please talk it up. All right? Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy your dinner. Thank you. Thank you.
As many of you are aware, I make an annual trip. Our church has sent 2 mission trip teams in 2009 and 2014, but I do go and visit the school each year. And last year, I brought back a little video clip of a day in the life of Kumi Christian Visionary School, and believe it or not, that's been playing on a loop in a little video monitor by the craft market all evening. So later on, if you get a chance, if you didn't get to come last year, you can recap that. It's not very long. Now, you may be wondering, you've had a chance, if you had a chance to look at the brochure and the pamphlet and read the program booklet, you probably already have some basic idea of the school and basic facts, and there's questions and things like that. But what's always compelling for me is the stories and the life. So as I begin, I want to begin with actually a greeting, a personal greeting from the founder and the vision bearer. Remember Silver Omakeni that I shared about at the beginning? The young man who had the dream to begin with. He's the director at Kumi Christian Visionary School now, and he has a little video greeting for you. So if it's possible, I'm going to ask Michelle. Michelle, where are you? Can I ask you to help me to get the house lights down so that everyone can hear and see Silver?
Hello friends and partners in the US. I'm Omakeni Silver. Director, Kumi Christian Visionary School. I love you all, and thank you very much for your generosity in giving and the support. We're overwhelmed with what you've done so far to this far. We really love you, and we feel God has brought you to stand in a gap with us to meet the needs of the vulnerable African child and to bring the vision of YCVM to pass in Kumi, Uganda.
So you got to hear a little bit of Silver's own voice. The young man has a heart. The old chairman of the board of YCVM used to say, the young man has a heart that can cover over all of Kumi and some. So again, this evening is really about the children. So I wanted to bring, this year when I visited, unfortunately the school was out. So I didn't get any new footage of the children to show you, but I'm going to share, introduce you briefly to maybe 3 of the children that I have met over the years that I've been visiting, so you get to know them. So, next page. This is Stacy Arengo. Stacy is in the 5th grade this year. When I first met her, she was in the 3rd grade. And even when they began the school, they had student elections, just like they do here. Student council, so that they get some leadership skills. And she campaigned, she said, I'm gonna run for head girl. Head girl is like student body president. And she campaigned and she won the elections. So she is now the head girl at the school, and it's called the head prefect, and in the US we would call her student body president. And every morning at school assembly she addresses, she leads the students in doing the morning prayers, and she always has some words of advice or words of something to give to the students, because there's always like a word from the student body president. So she's already accomplished leader. She actually is one of the orphans at the school. She has her aunt as her guardian. Her both parents, the father, she was abandoned by her father long when mother passed from AIDS some years ago. So she stays, she's one of the boarders, she stays in the dormitory, and she has really beautiful handwriting. Her notebook is just like a textbook. It's pretty amazing. And one of the things she loves is she loves children younger than herself. So she's already become kind of a dorm mother. She takes care of all the little girls. There are 44 girls staying in the girls' dorms, and she takes care of them. She's always also, every afternoon during her free time, she's always sitting by the cook, the lady who cooks for the children, and helping her out, helping her sort the beans or the stones of the beans and mix the posho together. And so she loves doing that, and the cook lady always brings her baby to work, and she's always holding the baby. So Stacy says she would love to be a pediatrician when she grows up. Stacy is also HIV positive. So she lives with an illness, but her spirit is mightier than many I know that have stronger physical health. So that is Stacy. Next we have, Alupu Susan. I had to include her because when our team went in 2014, the first year they opened, myself, we were a whole bunch of us. There were 2 education specialists who trained the teachers on science teaching, and the rest of us took the classes and worked with them while the teachers were being trained. And me and Steve Chen, one of our other mission team members, took the 2nd graders, and Susan was in our class. And we remember because she was the best soccer player ever. Usually boys, when, you know how you get to, like, the team leaders get to pick their team members, boys don't want to pick girls, but she was always the first to be picked because she was an awesome. Susan is the one in the pink jacket on the side. She's there with her older siblings. The one in the middle is her eldest brother, and there are 5. And then this is the one in the far side is her elder sister, who's also a student, by the way. The elder brother rode a bicycle from the nearby village. Now they are orphans, so the elder brother, who is now 23, is the head of the household, and he rode his bicycle because he has 4 siblings who are in school that he has to raise money for, and because he's just a peasant farmer, and they don't always get enough crops to raise the school fees. The way he raises fees is by bicycling everywhere to everyone he knows to ask for some money to help. And so he's been on his way doing his rounds, and he came to stop by to visit his 2 younger sisters. And Susan has had that pink jacket since she was in 2nd grade. So she's now in 4th grade and she's still wearing the jacket. Susan, my soccer player friend is there. Okay, next. Okay, so the little boy standing is Stanley. Stanley Orungo is standing there with his grandmother. Stanley is the youngest of 7 siblings, and the grandmother is now become too ill to take care of him. So he's the youngest boarder at KCVS. He can't tell us how old he is because he doesn't know his birthday and doesn't have a birth certificate, but we think he's about 7. But he stays at the school, but the grandmother is nearby and she tries to visit him as much as possible. So Stanley is there. This is a very rare occurrence you're seeing right now. Stanley doesn't smile at school, and we don't know why. He has trouble kind of seeing, looking at you straight in the eye, and there is a story there. But he is starting to smile more, and he is opening up, and it was good to see him smile with his grandmother there. So that is our youngest boarder at school. Now, last but not least, I wanted to actually recap and catch you up. How many of you were here last year? Can I see a show of hands? Okay. So those of you who weren't, I shared a story about one of their star students, and that is Brenda Nyadoy. This is Brenda Nyadoy. Brenda is now an alumna because she just finished her 7th grade, and I shared a story of her because she had not gone to school and stayed by herself. Can you show the next picture? This has been Brenda's home. They lost the father long ago, and then the mother mother was a government employee, and they gave them I think that used to be roadside police barracks. So it's a tin hut, and it's very hot in there and dusty because it's right by the dusty roads. But they were able to stay there because they don't have any home or room that they can afford. So mother passed, and since they had nowhere to go, her elder sister and she had stayed for a long time. And then gone to school in a while. So Silver finally took them to KCVS. And she was already 15 when she entered in the elementary school, but she did very well even though she had not gone to school for some number of years before she came to KCBS. So she got very high marks, graduated, and then there was no one to support her for a while. So she went back to the barracks, and she was staying by herself because her sister had gone. She was a 15-year-old staying by herself, so she was kind of a little vulnerable, and Silver noticed some men kind of lurking, so he brought her to his home and stayed with her, and then we were able to find sponsors from CCUMC to sponsor her to go to secondary school. Then can you show the next page, please? Oh, not that one. Next one. There. Okay. So this is Brenda off to school. Do you see that? I don't know if you can see, those of you who are way back, the picture to your left, that is her entire worldly possessions. She's got her bedroll and her chest of clothes and some toiletries, and she's going off to school. Fitted on the back of a bike, right? And then here is Brenda at school, at her secondary high school, with Silver. So she's very happy, and her teachers have good reports about her. So I want to end this with actually Silver sharing, because I only go once a year for a very short time, but he's there 24/7 with the children, and he says sometimes the lack is so overwhelming that it's easy to get discouraged, because he can't take everyone home like Brenda. He just simply can't. And so he sometimes feels like, oh God, what can I do, one person? And how can I, in this overwhelming need, there's so much lack everywhere, what do I do? And this is what Silver shares. This is kind of his encouragement to himself, but also to us.
But I thank God that by the grace of God, I've been able to have Nyadoi stay with me as adopted child here, and we've been seeing the grace of God in her, and she can now smile. She now, her hopes have been restored from being hopelessness to see the future, just like Jeremiah says, that I have plans for you. So now she's able to see a plan that God has got for her. So that's one interesting thing that makes my heart, all the time stand and appreciating God, because I see God doing all these tremendous things and bringing, transforming the lives of these young children from hopelessness into something, into a mind that a child is now focused, pursuing the dreams and pursuing her own ambitions. That's what makes me excited.
I don't know if you caught that. He says he's been staying, now Brenda's been staying, and what makes him excited is children's hearts being transformed from hopelessness into being able finally to focus on their dreams, futures, hopes, and visions. Now, do you remember last year I shared that Brenda, I think I even shared a clip of her saying it herself, she would like to be a minister when she grows up. And minister, by minister, she means a government minister. They have a British system, so that means a minister in the parliament. So that would be like, I don't know, a congresswoman or senator or something like that. That is indeed an ambitious dream. And she's stepping toward her future. And that's what excites him. There's always a word, there's always room for one more child, and one child at a time. So this is what we're about, and this evening we are especially excited that all of us here get to catch that dream and to be a participant in that dream. So now with that, I want to ask the house lights to be back on so that Leon can...
Okay, thank you, Ari, for sharing, letting us have a glimpse of a life that is a dream and a struggle that's very distant, but certainly no less real. And now, this next portion is going to be a little more mathy in terms of numbers. KCBS at the moment services 211 students, 60 of which are boarders. 70? Okay, 70 of which are boarders. Now, of course, the school charges them for boarding and housing, but obviously sometimes it's not feasible because perhaps they're orphans, or they come from abusive families, they simply cannot go home, there's no one to pay. And that's where scholarships come in, which is a big part of where the money we're going to ask comes from. So this next portion is called the ask, and there are a number of things we're asking. One, first of all, we're asking for your understanding of the plight and the dream that is at stake here. And the second, of course, we're asking for money. Okay, so in order to sustain the school's functioning for 1 year, it requires $20,000, roughly $100 per student. And again, I stress that this is only to sustain it. This does not include other capital projects such as improvements. This is simply teachers' wages, housing, food, etc. Now, look around you, we have 18 tables here tonight, roughly 10 people per table. That amounts to 180 people here. Now, 20,000 over 180, you get the idea. Actually, 20,000 may seem like a lot, and it is a lot, but the task may seem less daunting knowing that 1/3 of it is already covered, being that you're here, the dinner tickets, whatever numbers you wrote down over in the room, silent auction, have generated 1/3 of the revenue necessary. And now the remaining 2/3 comes from the donations that you give here tonight, right now. In a moment, we'll ask our youth volunteers to come out and circulate with the baskets. But if you're feeling generous, and we certainly suggest that you do feel generous, I'm going to ask Ben to explain how you can give.
Good evening, everyone. I want to add my word of thanks to the many words that have already been shared for your presence tonight. I know that you had other choices of what to do tonight. I'm not sure what they are since I have 2-year-old twins at home, but I'm sure you know what those choices are. So thank you. Thank you for choosing to be here and to be amongst community. You chose to be here to connect with community, to support with your presence and your gifts, a possibility and a partnership and a dream, as Ari shared earlier, located thousands of miles away. So that's something to be lifted up. But we gathered here this evening not only to share stories, as we heard from Ari, and to celebrate possibilities, both which are so important. But we've gathered here this evening also to be reminded of just how powerful each of us is. And to bear witness to what happens when we leverage that power collectively. Hopes and dreams become reality, good takes root, and life thrives. So I'm going to invite you to do something. Would you look at a neighbor on your right or left or across the table from you and look in their eyes and say, you make a difference? And then would you look at somebody else and do that again? And you have to mean it. You make a difference. All right, so being affirmed that you do in fact make a difference, I invite you to share in this blessing. May you continue to catch glimpses of all the ways that you can participate in and contribute to creating beauty and offering healing here and everywhere. May you take the energy of a full belly and a filled heart to bless another, to bless the world. And may you be graced with courage, especially during this current election season, to act for justice and for joy. And so it is. And everyone said, amen.
Okay, thank you very much for coming. If you are concerned, if you heard your name as a winner, but you don't know where to go, well, this is the time to listen. So, the market is directly on my right, as well as if you are trying to pay by credit card, you will look for Jacinto, who has slightly green hair. And then, if you are paying for something in the silent auction, you will head over to the reception desk by the balloon arch. Alright?
And if you are making a donation via credit card, you can also head to the balloon arch by the reception desk.
Alright, thank you and good night.
Thank you.